What is up, Frog fans? You are listening live or recorded to Postgame Beers, the Thursday Deep Dish. We are the Lupton Drinking Club. I am your host, JD Sailors, joined by my co-host, Martin Guerrero, and the producer, Ray Cartwright. Boys, what is happening?
We got basketball on.
Basketball's on.
Alabama continue to shoot literally lights out?
I know. You know, it's funny. I turned that game on. It was like 6 minutes in, and Alabama misses 2 shots, and I'm like, son of a bitch. And Tiffany's like, what? And I said, they can't shoot. And then 5 minutes later, it says they're like 10 for 20. I'm like, hey, you know what I said earlier about them not shooting? Never mind. We good.
Yeah. They good.
We good. Hey, are you guys cheering for Big 12 teams? Ray, you didn't even fill out a bracket, so there's this whole debate going on about should we cheer for Big 12? I don't give a crap. If TC's not playing, why should I care? I'm cheering for my bracket. I picked Alabama.
I know who you're cheering for tonight.
No, dude, I can't remember because in these bracket things.
Dude, I know you're cheering for Wu Pig.
Yeah. I think you're right, but dude, bracket comes first, and I think somebody who's in first place and I'm in second, they have Tech advancing. So I need Arkansas. Oh, no, I have Tech advancing. I don't remember. The point is, I'm cheering for my
house
bracket.
Divided.
Yeah.
House
I have
divided.
I have Tech advancing, and the person ahead of me has somebody else. I don't know. But yeah.
It would have to be Arkansas.
So I'm gonna watch. I'm not gonna
Arkansas or Tech.
I can't cheer for Tech, but it would be better for me if Tech won.
Dude, I mean, it sounds like you're the #1 Tech fan I know right now.
It doesn't sound like that at all.
You got your Red Raider pom-poms up. You're going, pew, 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 get your guns up.
It sounds like House Divided, but it's just your house.
They've got the flag.
Now bracket comes first, man. So but yeah, we'll be tuned. Well, I'll probably be watching it by myself because the Archie fan in the house will probably be asleep by 9. So anyway, Martin, you went to Lubbock.
Mm-hmm.
I want to hear about your trip, but I'm more excited to hear about your experience with the Anduno travel bag. Give us your review.
Yeah, it's a nice ass bag, dude. It's got a pocket for everything. You can carry it like a regular bag, or you can strap it on like a backpack. It's got the little extra support clip in the front. Dude, it's very spacious. I mean, I had more space than I needed. Had, like I said, every compartment that you could for the shoes. Yeah, dude, it's a great bag.
So you've been hearing me yap about it for about 3 weeks now. So if you don't trust me, trust Martin. Martin has a voice you can trust. Go to anduno.us. Get your bag. Use LDC 2025 to get 10% off. And Martin, you had all that extra space in your Anduno travel bag. I hope you filled it with delicious long drink.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and sunflower seeds.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I had me some Chinook Hatch chili the other night watching us take down Rio Grande Valley for the 30th time in a row. So, yeah, go to ChinookCeatery.com. Use promo code LDC. Get 10% off of every order. I know a lot of you guys who have placed orders early in the season are running out. So make sure to go back and re-up for the middle part of the season. Speaking of the middle part of the season, actually, take that back. We got to hear about your trip to Lubbock because you were representing for the LDC this weekend.
Boy,
I don't remember most of it.
Text that I'm up grinding film.
Yeah, I really don't remember most of it. Is Cam here? Is Cam in the chat?
We need to bring him on to give the review.
Let's just say we have some pregame beers, and then the last thing I remember was on Friday. I don't remember what the score was, but there was some chatter. There was some chatter from some Tech fans, and Cam, he takes that stuff to heart, man. And he was like offended that there was Tech fans in Lubbock.
Y'all shut up.
Yeah. He was like gonna turn around and like say something. I was like, hold on. I was like, just give it a minute. And then we started kicking their ass, and then I just let them have it. because I really don't usually say much, and apparently I was saying a lot on Friday. I really don't remember much from the game. I was up late.
Well, you had plenty of time to recover and be totally present for the Saturday game, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Too present. Yeah, it's kind of disappointing. I really don't think Texas is a very good team. I don't think they are.
Do you have any rebuttal to the way me and Ray assess the series? I can give you a quick reminder if you need it.
Yeah, refresh me.
So basically, we were saying it really sucks not to sweep, but it's tough to complain about a road conference series win. That's the gist of it, really.
I mean, I agree for the most part. I took it harder because I was there, and
yeah,
and they were talking shit, which was very annoying. Like, it's like, dude, what are you, like 7-30? Like, shut the fuck up. And
well,
yeah.
So speaking of that, what was the on-field experience like especially on Saturday when they got mouthy and everything? Because, dude, I don't know if you watched back that game on Saturday. I don't know why you would, but the camera, like, you can't see anything. They show everything that's not happening.
Yeah, everything but game action.
Right.
So, so Friday, it was, I guess, the first game of the series. It's a rival, and it's Friday night. They just swept Houston. They believe that they have aspirations in the Big 12 just because they went to Houston and swept Houston. So they were kind of rowdy at the beginning. They got shut up real quick. Saturday at the beginning of the game, because they got beat so bad on Friday, it was pretty quiet. Plus, the basketball team was playing, so it was kind of like not a lot of people were there.
Crickets.
Yeah, it was very, very like mild game until late, like because it was such a close game. Like every pitch was like it meant something, right? So like every play, something happened, and you could kind of tell by the way that the players were reacting, right? So you had the guy who was bunting with 2 strikes, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if you guys saw, but he like so he's safe, right? And he's like pumped up and fucking yelling and screaming, and he trips and he falls and he's doing somersaults and he jumps up and he's like cussing and grabbing his crotch, and it's like, man, okay, it's a bunt single, like, right? And pretty much that's how the game ended. So I don't remember what the pitcher's name was that came in on Saturday, but like after his first inning, I think he allowed like the leadoff runner on or something, and he gets out of it.
Yeah.
And so he's like walking off the mound like he's freaking Caesar from Planet of the Apes. Like he's just,
what a reference.
Yeah. And then there was another play where he beat the guy to the bag, and he's like fist pumping, and he called somebody a bitch. I don't know if he was like saying it to the runner, or if he was just very excited that he made the play, right?
Yeah.
So that's when Kurt came out of the dugout and was like, "What are we doing? Like, you can't do that, right? Like, is this baseball or is it not baseball? Is this, is this
MMA
Sunday league games? Yeah. Is this like Bush League? Like, so when Kurt came out and said something about it, there was all these Tech fans who were like, "Oh, you're a baby," and blah blah blah, yada yada, just complaining that Kirk said something. And so the very next inning, Braden I think he went like 3 up, 3 down, and you know how Braden is, and especially if they're gonna do it to us, he's fucking doing it to them. And of course, everybody starts bitching in the crowd, like, "Hey man, you can't let him do that." And yeah, it was
it's so funny that they get all like offended that Kirk's out there saying something, because they've got the whiniest fucking head coach
Mhm.
Yeah.
and Tiny Tim Tadlock.
I'm calling on the Big 12 to have Tadlock write an apology letter to Kirk. In fact,
It
I
was
second that.
yeah. I mean, it was insane. Like just on both ends of the spectrum, right? Like they're extremely sensitive when it's done to them, and they're extremely like, you suck because you're mad that we did this, right? And then of course, every time they hit a home run, their freaking bullpen fucking saddles up on the wall in the outfield. That was so annoying.
Oh yeah, they're out there dry humping the wall.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
well, good stuff, Martin. Thanks for the report. All right, let's get into baseball. Sorry, I'm just trying to be mindful of the clock, so I'm going to
Mhm.
quickly transit. Let's. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to share my screen, and for everybody watching on YouTube, shout out to you guys. Hope you enjoyed the visual aids. Hope it helps. For everybody listening, I will be as explanatory as possible here. But basically, what I want to do is I want to go through the last 5 games. So the Tech series, the Rio Grande Valley, and then look at the season as a whole, and just not really get too deep into it, but maybe just use it as talking points and guide the discussion going forward. So while I was saying all that, I could have been sharing my screen because know how long this takes. All right. Okay, so this is the offensive win probability contributed per at bat for the last 5 games. Okay, so obviously everybody in green, very productive. Everybody in red, not so much. The way I'm kind of looking at this, actually, I'll save that for the next graph. But let's just talk about this. So obviously we know Sawyer Strasnider had a massive 5 games in total. He's leading the way at 3.26% win probability added per at bat, which is absolutely astronomically huge. Silva had a good 5 games, as did Cole Kramer. Cole Kramer had a quiet, nice few games. Jack Bell, Nolan Traeger, Chase Brunson. And even when we get to the top of this, where it's, basically almost zero, that's basically you're still contributing, just not making massive game-changing plays. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And then some guys who struggled, Isaac Cadena, which, we can have a whole segment about him. I mean, yes, his results are struggling, but I still believe his at-bats are not failed at-bats, if that makes sense.
Dude will tattoo a ball right to a defender.
Yeah, it's getting kind of ridiculous at this point.
Yeah.
But we can come back to that. I want to get through these real quick. So Brody Green, Noah Franco, Sam Myers in limited action. Had a rough few games. Let me go over to pitching. How about Lucas Shin leading the way for the pitching staff?
Dude, he has been
huge 1-out save.
Yes. Yeah. So in five games, this is basically, Luka didn't pitch a ton, but the outs he was counted on to get were massive.
Yeah.
Cade Udy, monster game on I want to say Sunday. And then we all know what Zach James and Trevor Baumler just did last 2 nights. Man, they flipped their whole season around in one night. It was crazy. Braden Sloan, still good, of course. Mason Bigsby. I've been kind of beating the Mason Bigsby and Carson Cormier drum. I've been really wanting to see more of those guys. I liked what I saw out of Mason Bigsby last night. Mason Brassfield, good.
He's on.
Yeah. So Tommy Lepore is low, but that's really because the offense took over the game so quickly that he didn't really have to contribute much. Like the only thing Tommy could have done was be, high in the red and kind of hurt us, and he did not do that. Luis Rodriguez, Cohen Feaser kind of at the top of things. And then Nate Stern, I think he only faced like 3 hitters and gave up a home run, so that's why he's in the red. Noah Franco, we obviously know he had a real tough outing on Saturday, so that's why he's down there. Real quick, let me go to the season as a whole. I'll jump back to offense. So on the surface, this looks bad, right? We have 3 guys in the green and then a bunch of guys either at or near 0 or worse, right? But here's how I want to break this graph down. So over here on the far left, you have Strossnyder, Griffin, and Traeger. I think I misspelled his name 2 different ways. That's why it's showing up twice. So ignore this one. But these guys with the big green bars are guys who not only produce on the regular, but have had massive opportunities, like guys on base where the game is tight and they've come through. Then we have a group here of Cole Kramer, Isaac Cadena, Chase Brunson. We'll just group those guys together. So they have small red bars, which you might think is bad, but it's really not. It's really they'll have consistent games where maybe the opportunities aren't as huge, or they don't have, massive game-changing hits.
Or they don't get a massive opportunity.
Yeah, exactly. Or it could be split. It could be they come through in a massive opportunity and then maybe they don't in another massive opportunity. It kind of cancels out, right? But overall productive. And then I have a group over here: Sam Myers, Jack Arthur, Jack Bell, Carson Bowen. And we could even go ahead and put Noah Franco in that group. These are guys who they will flash positive, but their consistency at bat may not be all the way there. Does that make sense? Like say they go 1 for 4, but they have, like Noah Franco. He'll say he goes 1 for 5, but he hits a home run.
Mm-hmm.
It's that group. Like that's how you describe those guys. And then Brody Green kind of limited at bats. Not the prettiest result there. And Anthony Silva kind of still struggling overall. But, if we go back to the graph where it just shows the last 5 games, Anthony Silva was one of our key contributors. So let's see. I'm working on one screen here, so bear with me.
So it's kind of interesting looking at the season as a whole. And you have to go, 6 players before you get to someone that was on last year's team.
Yes, that jumped out at me too.
We knew last year's offense was a bad offense.
Yeah.
But these numbers kind of play out.
Yeah.
To an
It'll
extent.
be interesting to keep an eye on that as we go. Because, ideally you would like to see Carson, Anthony, Chase, Sam Myers kind of leading the way since they've played a year of college ball. They've been in the program.
Yeah, for sure. I think it more like that they went out and got the right kind of talent to bring into this program.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say is guys like Sawyer Strossnyder, that's a blue chip recruit. You kind of count on him to produce right away, right?
Stud. And that's with, leading the way with, he got off to about as bad of a start as you could get off to in San Diego.
And let's put this graph in perspective too. Like Brody Green on the far right is at negative 0.81%. That's still not that bad.
And that's with what, less than 20 at bats?
Yeah, limited at bats, right?
I wonder what last year's graph would look like.
Yeah, I think it was pretty much after we got swept by Oklahoma, I stopped charting.
Yeah,
because we weren't doing this pod.
I wonder where Brody would rank like on last year's team.
Well, if you give me like 3 interns, we can get that information in the next couple weeks. So I ain't doing it.
GPT.
So
yeah, right.
Travis in the chat, if you're looking for some side work.
Yeah. If anybody wants to chart some data for me and we can get last year's numbers for comparison, that'd be great. So this I have up. This is our full season pitching. Obviously, Braden Sloan leading the way with K Duty behind him, and just both of those guys, coming in usually in tight games. Like these guys are counted on in important situations, and they more often than not, especially in the case of Braden Sloan, come through. But
Mhm.
dude, Cade Udy has been very
Dude.
solid as well.
I mean, that three inning performance on Sunday, it's still, I mean, chef's kiss.
Yeah.
And especially the way he battled to get through that ninth inning. Oof.
Yeah. And just kind of taking a step back here and looking at this as a whole, like you can win a lot of games with this performance.
Yeah, for sure.
And we are winning a lot
And
of
I
games.
think this is a good indicator of, kind of how the bullpen is shaping out and
Yeah.
who you're gonna rely on to get those important late inning outs.
Yeah, and like Tommy Lepore is like sixth on this list, but the thing is with starters versus relievers, relievers are usually coming in, especially in the case of like Braden Sloan, Cade Udy. Like the game is tight and the outs are important, like I said before. Tommy Lepore might have a ton of at bats where they're not really impacting the game,
Right.
so it's driving down his average a little bit.
So you
So
probably kind of want like a starter to just not be deep in the red. Just don't
yeah,
be in the red.
yes, you're 100% correct. If they're in the middle of this, I would say they're doing pretty solid. So, yeah, that's really it, guys. If we can use that to kind of supplement our discussion going forward if we need to, or or we can just end it there and move on.
I mean, I think it kind of proves what we talked about all fall was that this team was going to be built on pitching, on the depth of pitching. The offense was going to be better. We never said that it was going to be like one of the greatest TCU offenses of all time. It's good
Right.
enough to win games so far. We haven't got to April yet, but it's a fine offense. But the pitching is like loaded, and it's a lot of freshmen who are contributing. It's good. It's good.
Yeah, and that's highlighted here too. So I have the contribution by unit by game. So the gold bar is pitching, and if it's up, it's good. If it's down, it's bad. The purple bar is the offense, and you see a lot of gold bars kind of leading the way as you go over game by game.
Yeah.
It's just every once in a while we'll have a stinker, like Saturday against Tech, Saturday against Arizona State. But thinking about the Saturday games, we going back to the beginning, we won a Saturday, then we played Arkansas, then we played Southern Miss, then we won, and then we played Arizona State. Really the one that, you know what? Let me back up. So on Arizona State, we started a freshman. Texas Tech, we started a freshman. So that's kind of where losing Cademan has hurt, because obviously Brassfield and Franco are talented pitchers, but they're going to give you, as we've talked about before, a lot of that variance from outing to outing.
Dude, imagine if we had Ben Abel.
I know. I hate letting my mind go there, because, when the injury news came down, we talked about how we can fill those innings. And I think we have, man. Like, It's not like we're struggling to pitch.
Right.
It's just these random stinkers that pop up from time to time.
I think
that will happen with pitching.
I just feel we're doing so well.
Yeah.
It's just so easy to remember we could be doing a third better.
So my question is, if Abelt is eating up innings, let's say he takes 6 innings a weekend, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then do we see Cade Udy? Does Cade Udy get a chance to develop? Or even Mason Brassfield, maybe, but it's certainly not to the extent that we have seen them, right?
I mean, yes and no, right? Because I think ultimately the cream's going to rise to the top, right? They're going to see this in practice.
Yeah.
Cade Udy would have gotten chances to shine on Tuesday, which probably would lead to more looks on the weekend.
Yeah, I agree with you in principle. It's just I think about Mason Bigsby and Carson Cormier. I believe in those guys. I think those guys can be, very solid contributors, and they're just not getting a chance to pitch.
I mean, you only get hopefully 9 innings.
Well, that's my point.
There's only one ball.
Right. That's my point.
And I mean, but Ben, 6 innings is kind of it's kind of a lot.
It is. That's
for
probably
someone
on the high
that
side.
Career high, right?
Yeah. And that
that's
was
never
another
done
thing
it.
too is, oh, well, we don't have Ben Abel, but we can automatically assume that he would have been, first team all Big 12 Friday night lockdown ace. And he's never started a game. So it was kind of an unknown.
He has started 2 games.
Okay. Well,
but I understand, but I still think maybe not all American or whatever, but I think he still would have been a good pitcher.
yeah, I do too.
Like, would you take what out of Ben what Cademan's given you? Because Cademan's giving you're good for about 5 innings with Cademan.
Yeah, 5 pretty good innings.
Yeah.
What's interesting is I feel like the person who has filled Ben Abel's gap the most is Braden Sloan, which is pretty funny.
Right. Yep. So Martin, where do you want to go from here?
We could talk about the midweek games.
Okay.
All right, so quick recap. Tuesday, they won 4-3. Baumler was spectacular. 7 innings, 2 hits, 0 earned runs. Big hit from Jack Bell, cleared the bases with a triple, and then he came in to score on a was that an RBI single by Carson right after?
Mm-hmm.
And then that
wasn't that like sandwiched with the lightning delay?
No, Carson got the single before the lightning delay.
Yeah, he got thrown out stealing, and then the lightning delay came.
Oh yeah, it angered God, as said in the group text.
Oh man, I wish Bill would have seen my tweet on Monday night. That's like one of the best catchers we faced, and we're just driving up.
Oh,
I mean, this guy's like a national leader in caught stealing behind the plate, and we're just like driving it up.
Yeah, it made no sense to me, man.
Yeah.
On that note, let's see. So caught stealing. We were caught stealing only twice, and then we had a pickoff.
Yeah.
That combined for minus 17% win probability, those 3 plays.
Yeah, I think we were 2 for 3 on Tuesday, and then the pickoff was on Wednesday, right? Franco got picked off on Wednesday at second base.
Yeah, you're correct.
Yeah, and then I thought it was hilarious. Not hilarious that this happened, but so he gets hit. The catcher gets hit in the elbow, right? By Bixby. He's throwing like 97 or whatever, and he gets hit right in the elbow, and maybe like the 7th inning, 8th inning, something like that. And he doesn't have any kind of protection on his elbow, and they had to take him out of the game. And the very next half inning, Bill steals a base.
Yeah, dude, you got to test that arm out.
Yeah, I think he was trying to get his average back up because that catcher got him good.
And you know what's weird is I thought, especially on Sunday of the Tech game, I'm like, why aren't we stealing?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a team you could take.
We got to save our legs for one of the best catchers in the country.
Yeah, that was weird,
sense, man.
Yeah, I noticed the same thing in Lubbock. We weren't really going, and I think that catcher sucked. And the catcher from UTRGV, he's like one of the greatest catchers in the country.
Dude, we ate him alive on Friday. I think. Hold on, keep going. Let me, because I meant to go to this base running. I said keep going. You guys just sit there and stare at me. I love that.
So on Wednesday, we had freshmen pitch the first 7 innings of shutout ball again. Zach James went 5. Caden Smith pitched the 6th. Nate Stern the 7th. And this time, Stroh-Snyder had a big 2 RBI triple to get the Frogs on the board, and then he later scored on a Kramer RBI single.
You say big. How often does someone get a triple hitting to left field?
Stroh-Snyder special, dog.
Dude. He does have that dog in him.
Yeah.
Hey, so Martin, real quick, I have the base running results. So hold on, let me get set up. So we actually came out positive on Tuesday against Rio Grande Valley.
See, it works.
I'm trying to remember why. Does anything jump out at you guys from base running on Tuesday?
Tuesday was.
I know there was something. Didn't we have a double steal like a couple innings after? It was right before the Stroh-Snyder triple, or the Jack Bell. I think it was was it the Jack Bell triple? We did a double steal and then we had a walk or something.
Oh,
I don't know.
Traeger got hit by a pitch to load the bases.
Yeah, that's right. So we had that, but then we had how many runners thrown out on Tuesday? Was it just the one?
2.
We had the 2. Yeah.
Did you say you had Brunson steal base on Tuesday?
But see, against Texas Tech on Friday, we carved them up. Saturday, okay. But then Sunday, it didn't even show up on the chart. And then Wednesday was just a disaster against Rio Grande Valley.
That was a big pickoff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, runner on second. There was less than 2 outs. And
I remember what it was on Brunson stole a base on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Because remember, he came out of the game.
As I just said.
Okay, sorry, I was
literally
thinking.
A minute ago.
Well, I was thinking, not listening. Anyway, hey, Ray, you want an update on where we're at as a whole?
Yeah.
Not so bad recently.
See?
Still bad. But again, we just talked, a lot of this is.
You just need a weekend in Lubbock.
Yeah. A weekend in Lubbock helps.
A weekend in Houston might help too.
Dude, yeah. Houston can't throw runners out for anything either.
All right. Well, let's save that anyway. So that's where we're at, Ray. I don't know how many red bars we're at now, but.
There's more red bars than green.
There are, but I don't know, man. Maybe we were just playing elite running game defensive teams early on.
The San Diego catcher was really good.
Yeah.
The catching got better for Southern Miss after they benched the Friday night guy.
And
it shows.
I think, too, if I want to look on the positive side of this, if I take out pickoffs, it helps things. It reduces a lot of the negativity, right? A lot of this is pickoffs, but I think in this run game, like pickoffs are going to happen.
I have a question about pickoffs.
Okay.
Who do we attribute that more to? Is that coaching or mental lapses while on the base?
It's both, right?
Yeah. So I think it's both because you have a lot of new guys. Like when you have a team that's full of guys who have played under Bill for 3 years, it happens a lot less.
And look, like Franco got picked off because he was coached to dance around on second, mess with the pitcher, try to get a jump, maybe steal a base, right? And he did not execute. That's on Franco. However, I think if you have 2 guys on and nobody out, just get a normal lead and let's continue to add base runners and not even risk. I just eliminate the entire risk of making it out on the bases.
Yeah.
So that's why I say it's both. Like Bill yelled at Franco for not executing his plan, but I think the plan was bad in that we should have just been trying to, get more base runners on, whether by walk or hit, and not risk getting it out. That's my stance on it.
Mm-hmm. The good thing is that, so like the pickoffs that have happened don't really matter anymore, right? Like they happen. That doesn't mean that they're going to keep happening or that it's going to continue to happen at the same rate. That's like somewhere we can improve on.
It's probably our most fixable issue on the team.
Right. And I really do not see that happening. over the next 30 games that we have, I definitely do not see us getting picked off at the same rate that we have been getting.
It's slow. It's already slowed down. The first couple weeks of the season, it was an epidemic.
Right. That's something I really don't see that ever getting worse. I don't see it staying the same. I only see it getting better.
Right. Yeah, and just as a general thought, like, just pick your spots better. You want to be an aggressive team, all that stuff. Well, do it when it's appropriate. If you're kicking a team's ass at the plate, don't waste base runners. Don't give the pitcher a free out on a pickoff. Keep kicking his ass at the plate. If you're struggling a little bit and need to make something happen, okay, I can see it. I don't know. It's all situational, but I think our situational decision making is very poor.
And that's something that's got to get better, as the season goes along.
Yeah, Martin, do you have any thoughts on it getting better as the season goes along?
Well, so it's definitely not going to get worse.
Yeah, as I was just saying.
How's Florida doing?
Do you guys have anything else on UTRGV?
It was good to see Baumler and James. I mean, I know that's so easy to pick out, but them to go out and have really good success against a really good G5 team.
It's nice to see. It shouldn't be a shock because those guys earn starting positions for a reason.
Yeah. Baumler started on Sunday in San Diego and James started on Monday in San Diego. Like, I'm not surprised that they pitched so well. I said all fall. Those guys were amazing all fall, and they just kind of, I guess, proved me right,
Yeah, I mean, like, even when they were struggling, the group chat on Twitter is like, what are these guys doing? We got to get rid of, like, let's hang on a minute. Like, yeah, if they keep not performing, we're going to replace them, but they earned those spots for a reason. They weren't just randomly picked to start opening weekend. So, yeah, if they can, I mean, it's not to say like now going forward, they're going to pitch scoreless outings every time. Like, there's going to be ups and downs, but it was just nice to see the talent produce, right?
Is there anything in the numbers that points to Cadina's run of bad luck?
What's his BABIP?
Yeah, hold on. I haven't studied this, but I'll pull it up anyway and we can discuss. Because I wasn't prepared to go into this tonight, but that's all right. Hold on one second.
I feel like he needs to hit a home run and then he'll get hot again, like he did in San Diego. Hit a ball out of play, and then you start getting some luck.
So what I have here is a scatter plot of BABIP going along the x-axis. That's the horizontal axis. And then ground ball plus line drive rate on the y-axis. So the higher up on the graph you are, the more ground balls and line drives you hit. And then down at the bottom, going across the right, the further to the right you are, the higher your BABIP, right? So there seems to be kind of a linear trend of the more ground balls and line drives you hit, the higher your BABIP. So let's look. The question was about Cadena. So he's what? 7th on the team in ground ball and line drive. And then it sucks to say that he's kind of right where he should be, right? Someone like Cole Kramer might have more luck going forward with a really high rate, but kind of a middle of the road BABIP.
Yeah, I don't know.
So does that say like going forward, like we can kind of expect, I don't know, like expect, but kind of start, see kind of the same?
You can't draw that conclusion just from this, but it is a data point to suggest that's possible. On the flip side, here's fly ball rate, and you see kind of the reverse trend, right? Like the higher your fly ball rate, the lower your BABIP. And again, he kind of finds himself right in the middle of the graph.
It's interesting that he's near Carson and Franco, because I feel
In fly
like
ball rate.
in both, those three are like the closest to each other,
Yeah.
and those are pretty much the unluckiest guys at the plate. Like they, as far as them hitting a ball hard and not getting a hit.
Yeah. So just looking at line drive rate specifically, yeah, okay. So he's 5th on the team. This is really where his bad luck is showing, Ray.
Where'd he go?
Is on line drives, because he's 5th on the team in line drives, but I don't know. I can't even count where he is on BABIP, right?
Like
Kind of the same with Anthony Silva and Franco.
Yeah. And what is that? Carson really unlucky?
Yeah, I would suggest
On
that
line
this
drive?
would suggest Carson's pretty unlucky. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So Cadena needs to hit more ground balls and he'll have some more hits.
And then the ground ball graph is scattered. So
Yeah.
what this graph tells me is ground balls specifically are very lucky.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no conclusion you can draw from ground balls. They either get through the hole or they don't.
Yeah.
Now, if I were to mix in like exit velo and stuff like that, it would probably give me a clearer picture.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Anyway, felt like that was kind of scattered because I wasn't prepared to show these, but I hope those listening on audio only got anything out of that whatsoever. If not, hey, DM me. We can discuss it. I can email you the graphs, whatever I got to do. Anyway, all right, so let's move on.
Let's talk about Houston.
Okay.
All right. So,
Oh, wait, I had one more. Sorry, I did have one more point on Rio Grande Valley.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of ties into what we were just talking about. So
Wow.
I expected our offense to put up a lot more runs.
Yeah.
But I'm not necessarily disappointed with the offense.
Yeah.
Because we hit a very high rate of line drives in this series.
Mm-hmm.
We also had a ton of guys on base. I don't have the numbers in front of me what we left on base, but we were very close to breaking both of those games wide open. I thought there was a point in time, kind of in the 6th or 7th on Wednesday, I thought we could run roll them.
When?
On Wednesday.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So we didn't score the amount of runs I think we expected, but I think the offense still was pretty effective.
Yeah, and I think part of that is also, I mean, they were a good defensive team. They made plays, they got outs, they really didn't make many mistakes. And it could have been one of those games where if they make one more mistake, one more error, or one more, guy that they let on base or don't get a certain out, then it's one of those games where it could have, gotten ugly. But so what do you think about the quality of this UCRGV team?
Are we grading them on a national scale or on a UT Rio Grande Valley scale?
So they are 23rd in RPI right now. Obviously everybody knew that they were going to stay first in RPI for the whole season. Do you think they will continue to be a quad 1 win for TCU?
No, I expect them to be a quad 2 once it's all said and done.
Because so for them to be a quad 1 win, would it be what, top 50 or top 40?
Somewhere around there, because it's at home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That pool shrinks.
Let me look at the sheet.
But
so I mean, we've already talked about this, but the Southland Conference is actually pretty high in RPI.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, if I don't know, if I compare Rio Grande Valley to say like DBU, I don't think they're terribly far removed from DBU as far as difficulty to play against. Maybe DBU has a little more pitching, But dude, they got some guys. Rio Grande Valley has some guys in that lineup that can do damage, and we just pitched the shit out of the ball.
Mm-hmm. So for them to be a quad 1 win, they would have to be in the top 25 in RPI.
Oh yeah, no, that's over this weekend.
Yeah.
What's quad 2?
Yeah,
What's the cutoff for quad 2?
Quad 2 is 25 to.
Is it 75 or 50?
50?
It's possible they stay quad 2. Like if they keep winning, they can stay in quad 2, right?
And that's because we played them at home.
Yeah, right.
If we played them in Edinburgh, 1 through 60 is quad 1.
That's crazy. That's a serious gap, man.
That's a big difference.
So DBU should be a quad 1 win all year.
Yeah. The one over there, yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's weird that you can beat the same team twice, and one's a quad 1 win and one's a quad 2.
Yeah, that is weird. I was surprised how many players they have like from California or like not from South Texas, because I was just expecting them to have a team full of guys from like San Antonio or Houston or South Texas and like a bunch of JUCO guys, but no, they had quite a bit of California guys and SoCal guys, and man, they had some good hitters, which just I guess kind of speaks volumes to how well our pitching did this midweek.
Well, I mean, dude, they were hitting spots, they were mixing pitches, they were confident. That was the biggest change I saw. It wasn't so much straight arm talent difference. It was those guys. I'm talking about Zach James and Trevor Baumler. They looked like, okay, I belong here. They didn't look like, wow, holy crap, I'm in college now. It looked like, yeah, I'm about to go out here and kick your ass.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead with Travis's comment.
So RPI bases their formula on quad. So the quality of the teams, 1 being the best, and then what is like 300 something being the worst.
Yeah, if you're talking about individually ranked teams, yeah.
Yeah, and so their formula takes into consideration if you're in that top 1 quadrant, second, third, fourth, or fifth. And so to be in the first quadrant, to be a quad 1 win, so they have to be 1 through 25 or top 25 RPI if you beat them at home. If you beat them on a neutral site, it's 1 through 40, and if it's on the road, it's 1 through 60.
So, and that can change throughout the year, right? Just because it's a quad one win now doesn't mean it's necessarily going to hold up and be that way come tournament time.
Yeah. It shifts. So our RPI goes up and down based on the results of teams we've played and whether or not we beat them or not. So anyway, I don't know. Maybe it's worth doing like a 20-minute quick pod one day, just a straight RPI explainer.
Yeah, and we could talk about how the SEC cheats in RPI.
Yeah. The SEC cheats? No way.
But for the sake of time, we got to talk about Houston.
All right.
We're at 50 minutes now.
So TCU takes their show back on the road tomorrow, and it's been a pretty good show so far this season. TCU is 8-1 in true road games. I think they already have more wins than they did last year on the road. They're also trying to extend their 9-game winning streak against the Houston Cougars. They also have a 9-game winning streak in Houston. TCU has not lost to the Cougars in Houston in over 20 years. The all-time series is also square at 52, 52, and 2. So all-time bragging rights are on the line in Houston this weekend. I always love winning the all-time series.
Yes.
So about the 2025 team, Houston goes into the series with a 14-10 record. Some are shocked to see that they're above 500. The RPI is a little disappointing. It's between 120 and 130. This is the former TCU assistant week after playing UTRGV, who was led by Drew Matlock, and now 3 at Houston, led by Todd Whitting. They also have former UT Arlington head coach Clay Van Hook as a staff. He's an assistant on the staff.
Man, how the
Um,
mighty have fallen.
That was crazy. He was there for 2 years. There was a lot of talk about UT Arlington.
Yeah, wasn't he like an assistant at Oklahoma before he took the UTA job
Yep.
and just plummeted his baseball draft stock?
Yeah, he made him worse, dude. I mean, like UT Arlington is usually about the same, but like the 2 years he was there, they were dog water. So Houston is coming off a surprising series win in Orlando versus UCF after starting Big 12 play, getting swept at home by Texas Tech. Where do you put Houston right now? Because I mean, getting swept by a shitty team like Texas Tech at home is very discerning, but also winning a series against UCF, who some people thought were good, is kind of surprising.
When I break down this team and I look
Mhm.
at the numbers and I compare it to TCU, honestly, I feel like based on individual players, they're more the team that beat UCF and less the team that got swept by Tech. Like, I'm curious to what happened in that Tech game. All right, I'm going to share my screen again, guys, and I can show you what I'm looking at real quick. And I think this might be a little bit surprising because I went into this thinking, Houston has very limited talent, not a good team or whatever, but this might surprise you. So this is a comparison of the hitters. They have the best hitter in the series in Connor McGinnis.
Really? Where's Xavier Perez?
Second.
Oh, it's because he plays first.
No. So this is, sorry, I should explain. This is just WAR.
Oh, okay.
So I isolated the offense. This is simply just hitting, right? So over here on the TCU side, Sawyer Strauss-Snyder leads the way, no surprise. And then Chase Brunson's behind him. But over here in Houston, they have the top hitter, Connor McGinnis, the second baseman. And then they have a couple guys in the lineup, man, that can do some damage, right?
Cade Climby.
Yeah, I'm sure he's on here somewhere. Aaron Lugo, Trey Bassard, Xavier Perez, Cade Climby. Yeah. So the thing is with Houston's lineup is based on this, at least, once you get past those 5 guys, there's a drop off. On the TCU side, the drop off is less significant. And I filtered out just the guys who played in the last weekend series for both teams. So there's not guys on here who maybe played opening weekend, went 0 for 16, and then didn't play again. So these are normal everyday players for both teams.
So what this kind of tells me, looking at it, it's critical, very crucial to get that bottom third of the order out. You can't let them.
I think you're inviting issues if these guys down here at the bottom of this box chart, if they're beating you, these guys are going to end you.
Yeah, it's kind of like Arizona State. I mean, just on a smaller scale.
Yeah, I do think Arizona State's bottom of the lineup hitters were probably better than Houston's. But the Houston guys, their top 3, like Xavier Perez, redshirt sophomore transfer from Texas State. He's 8th in the conference in OPS right now. He's hitting 365, 429 on base, 743 slugging. He's got 6 doubles, 2 triples, and 6 home runs. He's killing it. I'm sure Texas State wishes they had him. Connor McGinnis is killing it. So Connor McGinnis and Cade Climby, both of them were on Blinn last year, and they won the national championship, the JUCO national championship. Climby was actually ranked or rated as the number 1 JUCO transfer by D1. He's hitting 310, 420, 462 on base, 634 slugging, 5 doubles, 6 home runs. Connor McGinnis, he's 9th in the conference in OPS. He's hitting 373, 490 on base, 680 slugging. He's got 11 doubles, tied for the most in the Big 12, 4 home runs, and he's also 1-for-1 strikeout to walk ratio.
Yeah.
He's very good.
So here's how I'm going to evaluate this in this graph and how I'm going to evaluate the hitting side of the series. So both teams have a stud at the top that stands out. It's McGinnis for them, Straw-Snyder for us. And then there's a group of guys below those top guys that are still very dangerous hitters. And then you have the bottom of the lineup, and I think that's where TCU is better. TCU is deeper 1 through 9 in the lineup than Houston is.
Yep.
Let me jump over to pitching.
We're crushing them. Oh, man, we're not crushing
No,
them.
we're not crushed. No, we're not. It's honestly the same story. You have a couple guys at the top for both teams. For us, it's Sloan. It's Lepore for them. It's Antoine Jean, kind of their Braden Sloan.
Mm-hmm.
And then Paul Schmitz, which I know less about, but he's kind of on par with Lepore, at least based on performance against the teams they've had to pitch against.
That's weird.
I mean,
I don't think he's very good.
But
sounds like it was be a good Friday night matchup.
kind of like with the offense, we have greater depth than they do.
Mm-hmm.
Not significantly. I think the pitching matchup's fairly even in this. Now, granted, we get Parker back, and he's as low as he is just because he hasn't gotten to pitch as much. So getting Parker back for this is huge. Now, real quick, Martin, I know you have notes, but I want to get to this third graph, which I think could actually be the difference between TC winning 2 out of 3 and sweeping. Let's look at the defense. Houston cannot field the ball.
Damn.
I think that's a key part of baseball.
It is.
Being able to field the ball.
It's not as important as pitching and hitting, but it can certainly, like if you're really bad at it, like Houston appears to be, like they have no plus defenders on the team.
So they're
not one
booting that damn thing around all over the yard.
In fact, most of their team are detrimental to defense. Like they don't even make the routine plays. Like up here at the top, we have Noah Franco, and he's that high because he's a nationally elite defensive player.
Well, that's Anthony Silva.
Right. Then we have a group down here who are very, very good defensively. Chase Brunson, Cole Kramer. And Jack, I don't know if you're surprised by Jack Bell being on there, but he's actually played a pretty solid third base.
I am
like
not.
Those guys.
That's why he's in the lineup.
They're going to make the routine plays, and then they're going to every now and then make a great play. Houston has none of those guys. They might have one guy, the center fielder Trey Boussard. But after that, man, like when you get down here, you're going to make most of the routine plays. But once you get below 0, now you're just a detriment to the team defensively. TCU has nobody.
Houston has 8 DHs on the field.
So anyway, this is where TCU has the biggest advantage is defending the ball. I think they have a slight advantage at pitching, a moderate advantage offensively, and a major advantage defensively. Anyway, that's all I got, Martin.
Martin, is that why you think of Houston pitching not being so great? Like, could it be because they have awful defense behind them?
It could very well be.
They also don't get a lot of strikeouts. Like their Friday night guy, you would think he'd get a good amount of strikeouts. I like Tommy Lepore to me is kind of crazy that he's a Friday night guy right now because he doesn't get as many strikeouts as I feel a Friday night guy would. But Paul Schmitz, I thought it was interesting. He's from Germany. He's got a 4.97 ERA in 29 innings. He only has 17 strikeouts this year. And then his 248 opponent batting average is also like kind of high for a guy who pitches on Friday night, And then we're going to have our original Friday night guy pitching on Saturday. Who's the guy? Connie Ritchie or what's the guy's name pitching on Saturday for Houston?
Roman Ritchie.
Yeah, Richie Roman.
Richie Roman.
Let's see. He has a 5.21 ERA.
Also, so you're talking about strikeouts and they're not having a lot of strikeouts. Could that attribute to, I mean, when you combine that with a bad defense, right? So there's a lot of balls being put in play.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like so a lot of opportunities for them to boot that thing around.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they don't complement each other. That's for sure.
What about their walk rate?
No, I don't have it up. I'm sure it'll be higher than normal against TCU, guaranteed.
Craig asked about their catcher. We touched on it a little bit earlier, Martin, and I just filtered it on the chart. He's god awful defensively.
Yeah, they Tech, Houston, and I don't remember who else. Maybe it was Arizona State, but definitely Tech and Houston. They have like the worst guys at throwing out stolen base attempts.
Would you like the numbers?
Shoot.
So stealing bases, Houston is 48 for 57 on the year.
That sounds like a lot.
It's a
And
good amount.
opponents are 34 for 39 in stolen bases attempts against Houston.
The catcher has a negative 1.87 DRS, which I'm going to confirm this. I think that's probably one of the lowest in the country. It's very low. I might be surprised how many bad catchers are out there, but
yeah,
especially in the Big 12, that is not going to cut it. Like,
not a D1 catcher.
We don't throw out runners all that well either. But I'll tell you one thing both of those guys can do is block a ball. So DRS for catcher is not just throwing out base runners. It's how much do you help your pitcher out on a ball in the dirt?
Yeah. Yeah. Like, it's so rare for us to get like a pass ball, but like against teams like Texas Tech, Houston, DBU, like it happens all the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
I when I'm charting these at bats, it's wild to me how many times I'm writing down wild pitch or pass ball.
Yeah. So the guy that's starting on Saturday, Richie Roman, he pitched against TCU last year in Fort Worth. Came out of the
Didn't go
bullpen. No. He came out of the bullpen on Saturday. He got 0 outs, gave up 5 hits, 6 runs, all earned, 1 walk, 2 doubles, 2 wild pitches. Threw 23 pitches, and none of them were good.
Not a single one was good.
Not even good.
Not even a pitch was good.
Not even one pitch. What is it? TBA on Sunday. Do you guys have predictions about who's going to start for TCU?
I think the rotation's released. Oh, you mean the TBA?
Yeah.
I think Brassfield gets another crack at it.
I would lean Franco.
But so I thought the same, but then I thought if it was for sure going to be Franco, then wouldn't they just say it's going to be Franco?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe they're holding. I don't know, dude. I feel like we've said the same thing like 3 weeks in a row now. It's like maybe they're holding the spot open. Maybe they're holding the spot open for Sloan if he doesn't pitch Friday and Saturday.
Yeah. Yeah. So obviously the biggest difference this week is that we have Cademan Parker coming back. I mean, yeah, I could totally see not needing Braden Sloan Friday and Saturday and starting him on Sunday.
I don't know. I think you might need him on Saturday.
Why Saturday?
He doesn't think Cademan will go deep.
Yeah, I don't think Cademan will go deep because he's just coming back from injury. He's got to build that arm back up.
He's gonna throw 7 innings.
Yeah. Now, flash forward to Saturday, and it's the 8th inning, and he's thrown 8 shutout innings of 2-hit ball, and y'all can all come back and say, Ray, what an idiot. Sloan's chilling.
Yeah. Another guy who's coming back, Brunson. He'll be in the
Oh.
lineup. He'll be in center field.
Love that.
Nobody needs to worry about Brunson.
That slide was such a weird slide in the second.
I would have him just stay at first.
All right. Hold on, guys. I got to get my calculator out to tell you where their catcher ranks in DRS.
That's funny.
Are we into the 300s?
He. How do I put this? He's about, of all position players, right? That includes, because I can't filter it by just catcher. It doesn't have an option to do position player filtering. And if I just filter by C, it brings up any entry with a C in it, which doesn't help me much. But anyway, out of all the baseball players in the country, he ranks 7,280th in DRS.
Dang.
What the actual fuck?
Yeah, that's a real thing. It's a real thing.
I mean, I know I like to joke around and always taunt a catcher saying you're not a D1 catcher, but literally, what the fuck? You're not.
He's tied for.
Catcher.
He's tied with the catchers from Milwaukee.
Not a D1
Wofford.
school. It kind of a D1 school.
Cal.
Is that their starting catcher at Wofford? It can't be their starting catcher at Wofford.
I don't know, man. Lipscomb.
Not a D1 school.
The Citadel.
Not a D1 school.
Now, granted, he's slightly better than these guys. I'm just going down the list. Delaware State.
Not a D1 school.
Bellarmine.
Not a D1 school.
I don't know.
These
I
are all
can keep
D1
going, but you get
schools.
the idea.
Yeah.
These would all be schools, Martin, I would not consider to be D1. They may play at the Division 1 level, but
They're not. Yeah.
They're not D1.
Anyway.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. We're at an hour 10. Y'all didn't correct me. Like last week, I said a minute 8, a minute 9, like 3 different times, and y'all didn't correct me once.
Mhm.
An hour and 8 minutes.
Well, I was just going to let you run, dog.
Yeah.
You were in the zone.
Oh man.
It would just take more time to
Yeah,
correct you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
now,
true.
now we're
All
at
right.
a minute and 10. A minute.
We
and
don't. I'm gonna skip going around the country in the conference this week because we had a lot
but
to talk
so
about.
much fun happened.
Yeah, well, I don't have time for it. So
You guys got any thoughts on UTSA?
Good, not great.
Blind.
let's.
Blind thoughts. Good, not great.
Yeah, actually, I did. I watched them against Texas.
Mm-hmm.
They play ball like they play really good defensively. They were making plays in that game.
So they have midweek wins against Texas A&M and Texas State, which Texas State sucks.
Didn't Texas State come in with midweek wins against what we thought at the time was a good Texas A&M team and what we thought at the time was a good Oklahoma State team?
Yeah, but
those
they also
teams
threw their
suck.
Friday night guy against them.
He is now their Friday night guy, yes.
Yeah. He wasn't at the time. Like they didn't just save him for those games or anything. But
Mm-hmm.
all right. Let's. I don't know, Martin. We can. Do you want to talk about UTSA? Okay, then let's wrap up. All right, Frogs in Houston starting tomorrow. We have 2 night games this weekend, which is good for TCU because I looked it up today. We're like 500 in day games, but we're something like 13-1 at night or something crazy. I don't think that means anything, but
the Frogs at night are big and bright.
Yeah, I think the only night game
Deep
they've
in the
lost is
heart of Texas.
Arkansas. That's it. Yeah, we've won every night game except Arkansas. So
Yeah,
2 night
I've been
games
at
in
most of
Houston.
those night games.
Maybe we can conquer the Saturday scaries.
Mhm.
Cademan comes back. We got Brunson. Hey, any word on Colton Griffin?
I haven't heard anything. I'm actually surprised he hasn't been playing.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll be by the channel. Until then, go Frogs.
Go Frogs.